Okay, thank you so much for joining in for this evening session with us. Shamika Mone has already joined, and let me take this opportunity to welcome her. She's a researcher turned organic farmer, originally from Maharashtra, and she does organic farming on 4 acres of leased farmland where she grows traditional rice varieties, tubers, and vegetables with her partner in Kerala. She is also the elected treasurer and the managing committee member of the OFI, which is popularly known as the Organic Farming Association of India. And she has written a couple of books as well. One of her famous book is titled A Source Book on India's Organic Seeds, was officially released in February 2015. And this book serves to increase the accessibility and availability of these indigenous organic seeds for the organic farmers in villages as well as in cities. In 2024, she was also elected for a third term as the president of the INOFO, which is Intercontinental Network of Organic Farmers Organization, a self-organized structure for organic farmers with OFOM Organics International. And since the General Assembly of OFOM Organics International, she also serves as the farmer representative on the OFOM World Board. Her recent self published illustrative book, which just published in April 2026, and she's going to definitely talk about that, which is titled Story of Weeds, that's highlighting the harmful impacts of chemical herbicides or weedicides that is getting spread and widely accepted by kids, their parents, and for the common people like us. So, thank you so much, Shamika, for joining in and very excited and look forward to your experiences over many, many years to share with all of us. Over to you.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to talk to colleagues of your colleagues and the people in your network. Very happy to share my experiences. So, should I just start by sharing my presentation? Yeah, okay. Just give me a minute. I hope you can see my slides.
Yes, we can. Uh, just that we want to zoom in. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. The shared thing went away. Oh, okay. This is my new laptop, which is a little difficult to understand. Okay. And let me reduce all these windows that we have. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, so thank you for giving me this opportunity. And I was just here to share my experiences in organic farming movements that I am part of, and also to bring the experience from the ground, locally, nationally, and internationally. So I just want to tell you, I did my master's in biodiversity. And after my biodiversity master's, as everybody wants to go and do a PhD, I went ahead to do my PhD and actually went to Wardha, worked with farmers there. But the ground reality there was quite devastating, with the farmers growing BT cotton and the suicides that were there associated with that. And then eventually I left my PhD, but then continued to work with different farmers organizations in Maharashtra, Karnataka, and then eventually landed up in Organic Farming Association of India. It's strange. It's not, slides are not moving.
So you will have to change the slides in your the original window that you have for your PPT. There you can.
Yes. Ah, okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, when I was in Organic Farming Association of India, quite young as a researcher, and it all started with a call in the office asking, it was a call from organic farmers from Maharashtra, and they were asking, where can I get the traditional seeds of organic cotton, which are not contaminated with any traces of genetically modified seeds? And everything in the market and the shelves that was available for those farmers at that point of time was only genetically modified cotton, or BT cotton as it's popularly known. And we had no answer to that kind of request of those farmers. But that's how we began in Organic Farming Association of India to make the seed catalog. And I was then given this task to do because I had a master's in biodiversity and seeds was my passion always. So it helped me to document the primary aim of this whole catalog that we decided to do in the association was to document the work of seed keepers, all the seed savers that are there in India, working with traditional folk varieties, and also provide organic farmers who are newly coming to this field to have access to such seeds. And when we started this catalog, I want to always highlight this story, which is so important. And why is it important to document the traditional varieties that already exist in India? And this story was told to me by Dr. Debal Deb from actually West Bengal, but now also resides in Odisha, partially here and there. But he told me the story. And I think it's very important to share it with everybody. So I do share it with everyone. It is to know that you might be, everybody knows basmati rice. Now, everybody knows basmati rice in India and Pakistan. And I don't know, many of you know or not, but some of you might already know that India and Pakistan, on one side, fought a legal battle against basmati patent being granted to an American tech company. And the American tech company had actually identified different characters, 14 different characters of the basmati, like the aroma, the length of the grain, how much it is in the beginning, and how much it grows in size after cooking. And all those qualities were documented. Strangely, though, Indian and Pakistani people have been eating this rice and is popularly known in all the places we had. But none of the Indian government nor the Pakistan government was able to furnish any written document that can show in the court of law that it was a prior public knowledge. All these efforts, sorry, can you still hear me?
We can hear you. Please continue.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so where was I? Huh. So basically, this when this happened, the legal battle, the government of India or Pakistan were not able to furnish any public prior knowledge document that can be tabled. And unfortunately, we lost the case. Any agricultural research didn't help us out, and we lost the case. And now there's also the battle between the legal battle still continue between the two parties. But it's a lost case as we understand it. But we, however, won a patent on turmeric. Now, turmeric, as you all may know, we all you Indians and Pakistan, we all use it in our food. Every day, turmeric is being used in all the cooking and cuisines that we make, and it is there. But how do you, when it comes to the court of law, and if there is a patent being asked for it, one needs to show a document. And thankfully, there was a mention of the antifungal properties of turmeric in Sushruta Sanhita. Sushruta Sanhita is the manuscript that exists within India, and it was translated thankfully by a Harvard professor into English. And CSIR, that is Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, were then able to show that as a proof in the World Trade Organization, where only six European languages are considered. So it was thankfully with this Harvard professor translating it into English, we were able to prove that turmeric has antifungal properties and it belongs to this region of India. So this is how. it's important to have documentation. And turmeric existed here in India like 1,500 years before, and the case was withdrawn, and it was declared as a case of theft by that other company. So that's how I understood the importance of documenting all this knowledge that the seed keepers had, uh, especially in this world of intellectual property rights. And so this publication that we made in 2014, it was the first of its kind where it is copy left in the public domain, because we wanted to be, we believe that the outright violation of all property rights over seeds and resistance to all these seed patents can actually obviate biopiracy. So instead of holding it onto it, we make it as open and accessible as possible, and that helps to spread the message. So that's how the book started. Um, oh, okay. The double clicking is not always helpful here on this system. Okay. So then when this patent story happened, actually we had stamps that came out. You can see the turmeric stamp here and all the other spices that belong to native, which are native to India. This is just for fun, for you to understand the story. But here now you can see different diversity of different things, that there are chilies and brinjals and tomatoes and whatnot is there, mangoes, beans. So this is all diversity between species. And if you see here, you see different diversity within the species of brinjal on the left side. On the right, you see all pumpkin. And then you see tomatoes. These are all photos from Deepika Kundaji from the Pebble Garden in Auroville. It's her pictures, but I use it with her consent to show the diversity that exists between the species and within the species. This is my own photos on our farm where we have chilies, diversity, lady's finger diversity, as you can see. And then, so all this diversity that was created, who created this diversity? Many of us might just want to think that it existed over the years. It is maybe through natural selection, in the in the nature they existed. But the reality is that all these varieties were actually made or domesticated from the wild varieties. So example, to give an example of wild banana, if anybody has seen a wild banana in the jungles, on the slopes or the rocky slopes, you would see bananas with seeds, big seeds. But now, as you know, we have so many diversity of bananas that exist in Kerala and many other places, maybe in West Bengal and other places as well, where we have different colors and shades of bananas, but without seeds. So all this diversification that happened within a species was actually done by farmers. Farmers' observant skill and farmers' uh, potential to find a specific character and multiply it, do it by artificial selection over years, like 3 to 4 years, do selection and multiplication. And once a character is stable, it is then considered as a species, sorry, as a variety that sustains. So all these varieties, all the diversity that was created by farmers, by their observant skill. And that's how, when I was actually making this seed catalog, I went to different countries, different sorry, different states in within India, and these were the states that I covered. And as you may all know, organic farms and organic farmers are actually multiversity. So it's not only the observation skills with which they select the seeds and do the seed conservation, traditional seed conservation, but also do multi-cropping. They build the soil health. They also make farm innovations. They all different seeds, the traditional seeds that I will show you in the near in now. You will also see that many of them help to sustain the climate change And there are a lot of cultural significance, medicinal properties associated with seeds, that they have been carrying it through their cultural diversity and handing it over to the next generation. Now, this is a typical organic small family farm that you could see. This was in Odisha, and this you here you can see papayas, karanjit, then okra, rosella is there, chili, ginger, and all sorts of things. But what I'm trying to show here is the different levels of uh, canopy that exists. And this structure is traditionally done next or near to the farm, like a homestead garden. But we call it garden, but it's actually a part of agriculture in such a way that the trees or the plants harvest the sun to its maximum and actually sustains the food security for the household for the entire year. So there are different tubers or things below the ground that actually helps at some time, then some herbs, then some shrubs, some fruit trees. So different times within a year, different fruits and different food actually helps. So it's like a food forest around the house. And that's how a typical organic small family farm used to be and still continues to be. And now I go to just a few selected stories from my book on the the seed catalog, or the India's organic seed. And here is Babulal Dahiya from Madhya Pradesh. Many of you might know him now because he got the honorable from Padma Shri, the highest civilian award that one gets. But this was when I met him many years back, and that time he was not that known. But he has an interesting interest, and he has been a conservator of folk literature and seeds. So he was studying actually folk literature with festival songs, tribal songs, women songs in Baheli language. And when he was doing that, and he was finding out that how the literature is getting on the verge of extinction, he also found that the traditional varieties of rice and different millets and cowpeas, everything is getting actually eroded, the knowledge and the culture. So he actually started conserving traditional rice varieties, millets, cowpea, and many. That time it was 100 rice varieties, but now it might have grown to a bigger number. Um, that time there was a biodiversity board, Madhya Pradesh Biodiversity Board, supporting their cause. But he also written many books in Baheli language, and he also writes articles now also currently. And in his first book, actually, he had some interesting proverbs associated with millets and cowpeas and different things that he had. So all those were in Baheli language. But it's a very interesting person to meet, and who inspired and continues to inspire. Then another person is Sanjay Patil, who many of you might also know again, but he works with different women and young farmers in the Thane district, Palghar district of Maharashtra. And that time it was 225 farmers, but now it's grown to different districts. And they have conserved around 360 farmers varieties with finger millets, proso millet, and many rice varieties. And now they have also ventured not only in the conservation and participatory seed and varietal selection, which they used to do in the past, but now also they continue to do the seed conservation part, but they have also moved into a little bit of market for these traditional seeds, because uh, all these traditional seeds won't exist if there was no market for those seeds. So going hand in hand, the seed conservation and the market experience. And he's a very good friend of mine as well. These are the two people, colleagues in his group, Sunil Kamdi and Mawanji Pawar. They also, now they are quite grown. This is a young, this is like 10 years back photo. But they all developed their own varieties. The one that Sunil did was Ashwini, and he named it Ashwini by his daughter's name. And Mawanji also had expertise in participatory seed selection and has so many varieties that you can see the names here. This is also from their collection, the women farmers who are conserving seeds. Then the sorghum varieties, the corn varieties, and the wild edible leafy vegetables that you can see on the left. It's all filled with a lot of nutrients, and the cultural diversity still exists. And now they have connected this wild edible varieties. They have also connected to organic store in Mumbai, OOO Farms, and they do every year now a wild edible festival in Mumbai, where all elite class citizens from Mumbai come and cherish the different diversity that is able to taste, and they can also raise a revenue stream for the community in Palghar district. So that kind of a model is now coming up very well in this group. Yeah, and also some chefs from Mumbai are interested into this local culinary. Then this is Cobra Gade, the HMP man, as we call him. He unfortunately passed away a few years back, but he had developed a very interesting variety of rice called, he named it as HMT. And then he actually went to the university saying that please check this variety and let me know how it feels like this and how does it grow. But instead of supporting him and giving him courage to pursue his variety that he developed, the Punjab Rao Krishi Vidyapit actually took the seeds and told that no, it's not good, it's not working well, and they actually neglected or rejected him in his variety that he made. Unfortunately, he felt very bad. But the next 2 3 years, they developed from the same variety. They named they put their name as PKV HMT, and so just made the farmer as having impure seeds, but the university having a good variety. But it was a theft, and it was taken from Khobra Gadeji, and now it's from the Vidyapit's name. But such is a classic case of biopiracy that happened, and now it's also a case study that is put in, I think, seventh standard class textbooks to understand what biopiracy means. And this HMT variety, actually developed by Khobra Gadeji, is very popular, grows very well, gives good yield, and is now grown by many farmers across India. Then we come to Odisha here. Dr. Debal Dev that I was mentioning before, he is an ecologist but turned seed conservator and a farmer. He calls him farmer, but he's a scientist farmer. Um, and he established Vrihi, which is the rice seed bank in eastern India, the biggest one. Also, not the biggest, but the with the purified seeds. He believes that many people can have seeds, but to maintain the purity of the seeds is very important. And he does characterization of all the varieties with 60 different internationally recognized characters in 3 phases. And we did many trainings with him, with farmers and with conservators across India. I'm also one of them. And OFI supported in his venture for the trainings. The training happens in 3 parts. The first is before sowing, we do some 8 characters. Then in the flowering stage, there are several other 15 or more characters. And post harvest, there are again some characters. So total 60 different characters are noted every year to see if the seed that we planted has come with the same seed after harvest. This is because many traditional rice varieties have different properties. Not only the morphological things that he documents, but also the nutritional aspect. Like this is the metal nutritional analysis he did. He also has a laboratory of himself. And these are the different varieties that you can see. Some have more iron content, some have more zinc content. Those generally who have more iron content are very useful for increasing your hemoglobin. Like we tested Raktashali. Raktashali is from the Karnataka and Kerala belt in the south. And we gave it to Deval Dev to check its nutritional analysis. And there was a lot of iron in it. And I had been actually having deficiency with iron all my life with the city life that I had grown in. But when I started cultivating my own traditional Raktashali rice and eating my own rice, my hemoglobin increased, but not only increased, stabilized. With allopathic medicine, it would increase and then come down drastically when you stop the medicine. But in this case, once it is increased, it stays and stabilizes the hemoglobin. So such kind of important, nutritionally important traditional seeds are available with us. And the repository of this is the seed bank is in Odisha. And yeah, there are so many interesting varieties. Some are flood tolerant, some are drought tolerant, some are even salt tolerant. Like they need the salt to survive, especially in the areas where there are mangroves and like in Sundarban areas, for example. So many such varieties do exist that can sustain even salt, high levels of salt in water. So such varieties were made traditionally by the farmers in the past, and now Dr. Debol Dev has been conserving them on in his seed bank in Odisha, and also now since last 2 years he has handed it over to some of his younger colleagues like us who are now carrying it forward in our conservation plots respectively. There are 11 of us across India who are conserving those traditional rice varieties along with him. He also continues to do it. Yeah, so these are the different varieties that you can see, different colors and shades of rice varieties. And then it's Sabarmati ji. Many of you might know her again because she also received an civilian good award. I forgot the name, sorry for that. But yeah, I think it was also Padma Shri, if I remember right. And she has been working with Professor Radhakrishnan for a long time. And since 1988, they took a land which was mostly degraded land, and everybody called that it was impossible to grow anything there. But they made it happen. They cultivated the land, grown it into a forest, and now also conserve traditional rice varieties, like more than 400 plus varieties are there. And that's why they started calling it Sambhav. Like people were calling it as Asambhav, but they said no, it's Sambhav. That is, it's possible. And that's how she has been working really hard. She's also from Odisha. Now, looking at the time, I'm going a little fast because I might exceed my time limit that is given to me. I love to tell these stories of people, but if there's a time restriction, I better hurry up. This is Sundaram Vermaji from Rajasthan, and he has been working really hard in conserving Bajra varieties. He has a collection of around 154 varieties of Bajra. So this is the diversity of Bajra variety that he conserved from different farmers and is a conservationist in doing so. And if I went to his farm, every night we would have a different variety of Bajra ka rotla. It was very nice to have it. And this is all the pearl millet diversity that you can see, the bajra. Then he also had cluster beans and mustard. These are the different varieties that you can see here. Mustard, generally we see only the black bigger one, but there are different kinds of orange and black. And this is different sorghum varieties from Uttar Pradesh. Now this is from another conservation group in Uttar Pradesh, but I'm just now going through the diversity. And then this is, I cannot not mention Vijay Jardari ji. He has been the pioneer of the Beach Bachao Andolan that started long back. He was also part of the Chipko movement in the past. And Beach Bachao Andolan, he has been conserving various kidney beans along, which is in Uttarakhand. And now it's taken the workload is taken up by his son. Yeah, so Beach Bachao Andolan was initiated by him in the late 1980s. And there are different kinds of, not only kidney beans. I have showcased mainly on kidney beans, but they have also traditional rice varieties, 17 cowpea varieties, wheat, finger millets, bajra, barnyard millet, foxtail millet, and many more. They also call it bara anaja kheti, that is the diverse multiple cropping system. where there's more than 12 kind of varieties in one small plot. So one major effort of Beej Bachao Andolan actually went to the establishment of Uttarakhand Organic Commodity Board, which still exists. So, and the work still continues to conserve different traditional varieties. Now, here you can see the glimpse of all the varieties that he has. These are the Rajma varieties, Badami color, then violet color, green color. These are all Rajma varieties. Red color, only this one of these red is what we see in the market for Rajma varieties, but he has all of these with all different nutritional diversity and importance. Then the white kidney beans, yellow kidney beans, and this is the different varieties of cowpeas that exist with him in Uttarakhand. Yes, so from Uttarakhand we go to Karnataka. This is Sayyid Ghani Khan with his different diversity of mangoes. He has a big Tipu Bagh. It says that Tipu Sultan had his farm handed over to different people, and then it is coming to his part of the land as well. And he has these different kinds of mangoes. It's a very important place to be. If you are in Karnataka, you need to visit this farm as well. And so, with these all different seed keepers across India, this is just the tip of the iceberg that I showed you. But many are there in my book, but still, the book is also now 10 years older. So, you can imagine since last 10 years, many new people in seed conservation have come up. And there's so many people doing seed festivals within our network of Organic Farming Association of India. This is just a glimpse of the biodiversity festivals that we do. Then this is Vanasri from Karnataka. It's a group of women farmers in Malnad district. They also conserve different varieties of vegetables, different kinds of vegetable seeds. And this is in Kerala, where actually different rice varieties we have grown. This is the rice diversity plot. Then this is manual Manulattan. Manulattan is conserving a different kinds of tubers in they all have Malayalam names, and we have a catalog of all his diversity that exists with him. He has trained many other farmers, and many other farmers are also now conserving the tuber varieties that exist in Kerala. Then this is Thanal and the Save Our Rice campaign that was started by Thanal as an NGO in Kerala. They started in Wayanad, but now it's spread across the state. And this was their diversity block with more than 219 varieties. But this is the aerial view that they did, very beautiful. And they have been conserving traditional rice varieties and also supporting others to carry on the traditional seed conservation and also seed sharing. This is Nammalwarji from Tamil Nadu. He passed away. His student Jai Raman, who has also been a pioneer, also passed away recently. But they have sown the seeds of people, and now in Tamil Nadu there's a bunch of youngsters who actually do a lot of work in seed conservation, multiply seeds, and they do traditional rice seed melas, seed festivals, biodiversity festivals, even food festivals. And the movement is going on really strongly there. Yeah, this is I forgot to mention Deepika. So Deepika Kundaji is from Pebble Garden in Auroville. It's similar story like Sabarmati. She also received the award. Pebble Garden was actually a garden, like a land with a lot of pebbles, but they also gradually planted trees that are from the region, grown it into. It took around 16 years to convert the laterite wasteland in Auroville of 7 acres, and now it is a beautiful place with beautiful diversity, different kinds of crops with different nutritive values. And she's mainly into vegetable cultivation. So you saw all those photos of vegetables. Brinjal is from her. She collects all these vegetable diversity from different parts of India and maintains the purity at her farm. But she grows it on a small scale, and only when she feels that the person is right, she gives them the seed so as they can adopt the seed and continue growing it forward. So these are the different kind of beans and chilies that she has in her diversity collection. And this is all the team together of seed keepers that we met in Bharat Beej Swaraj Manch, the National Seed Savers Forum that we made. Here, Asha and OFI and many other organic farmers connected to our network joined together on the spirit of conserving traditional rice seed diversity. So this basically came out in my book together also in 2015, like already it was mentioned. And book is now also available on Banyan Tree Bookstore in Madhya Pradesh, where you can order it online. But yes, it is also available in our office to spread the word. This is basically helpful for newcomers who are coming into organic but don't know where to source the organic seeds. So, Organic Farming Association of India is where I already mentioned. This is part of that work that I did as a seed catalog. And we also do a lot of seed festivals in different states of India. And our pioneering venture is the OFI biennial conventions, which happen after every 2 years. It started from 2006 in Maharashtra. You can see all the pioneers there: Vijay Jardari, Nammalwarji, Dr. Claude Alvarez, Bhaskar Save from Gujarat. They all were there, and now it's been taken over by younger generation like us since 2018. But you can see after every 2 years, it was in then Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Odisha. Odisha was in 2012. Punjab in 15. 17 was the Organic World Congress that came to New Delhi. And after that, the younger generation took charge. Then we had the next one in Rajasthan and then in Kerala. So now everybody is asking us when is the next one coming. And actually, it is we go into losses every event that we do, but it is of so much of importance when we do this intercultural platform for farmers, because farmers pay the registration fee and come by themselves, taking care of their travels all by themselves, and we get more than 3,000 farmers coming at one place, sharing their knowledge, sharing their different experiences. And it is such an experience that we don't understand it then, but when we meet people later on over different parts of India, and they tell us the review that, we came to that convention and that inspired me to do seed festival here, and now it has grown to this. It is really heartwarming. This is the last convention in Kerala that we did. It was very wonderful because we honored all the pioneers. Then we also had a cotton fashion show, alternative fashion show. That was an important aspect. So seed diversity and seed festivals have been common, like up till now, food festival. But we also added a fashion show to also support the organic cotton clothes and the weaving industry. And then I would like to jump from the national one to the international one. And I think this time period is really short to cover all the aspects, but I tried to give you a glimpse of everything. And let's see how we can finish it in time. So this is about Inofo, and Inofo is a global network of organic farmers organization in Asia, Africa, Latin America, North America, Europe, and Oceania Pacifica, with members in around 79 countries. And organic farmers organizations, we say, are the organizations where the decision making is with the farmers, organic farmers, and they are on the board of the organization. And it is part of the IFOAM Organics International since 2011. This is the INOFO Council. It's the in 21-24, but 24-27 we have become more online, and so I've not put that picture, but here we have all the conveners. We have three per each continent, and it's a team of 18 people from across the globe. And this was in the Organic World Congress when it was the first time we introduced Every time in the Organic World Congress or any platforms that we see scientists presenting their work. We also see traders talking about business, but we never see farmers speaking and making their research on ground to be seen. So we made a farmers track where more than 200 farmers across the world actually came. We supported them to come to India and present their work on ground. And we made presentations such that there was all photos. The language is not an issue, and we put one liners in English and some in local languages, and it was a big success. And that continues to happen now in Asian Organic Congress, African Organic Congress, and all subcontinental, sub-African organic congresses like West Africa, East Africa, all have now different congresses, but there's always a place for the farmers forum or the farmers track. And these are some seed festivals in India. This is the Biodiversity Festival done by Rede Ecovida, one of our members in Brazil. They are also very strong in the PGS movement, Participatory Guarantee System movement in the world. And these are the seed festivals that we do in Kenya with the local partner, the member Seed Savers Network. Their work on traditional seeds is really inspiring because in Africa, in most of the African countries and in Kenya, sharing traditional seeds with each other as farmers is actually considered illegal or a crime. And they have been fighting for the farmers' rights to conserve their own seeds and sharing it with the different farmers, each other, without any pressure of the government. And finally, over the years of like 5 to 10 years, it took for them to actually fight the battle in the court, and it was just recently that they got the freedom to and the right, the farmers right to conserve their own traditional seeds and hand it over generation to generation. But it took quite some time and struggle for them to get the basic needs and the basic rights of farmers to share seeds. And this is from a recent paper that we developed as Inofo, that who is a farmer. And it's also important to understand how farmers are actually unknown, unnamed scientists. Scientists and farmers share many similarities in their approaches, but there are also differences. Like you can see, scientists follow scientific process of observation, questions through hypothesis, then do experiments, then there are results and conclusion. Farmers also follow a scientific process where they do observation, they ask questions, they don't have an hypothesis, but they assume a certain things, do farm experimentation, and then there are results and conclusion. Scientists usually note down all the important things in English. Farmers note it down in their local languages. Scientists usually publish papers in scientific peer-reviewed journals. Farmers usually share it with their family and community and peers. Scientists hold intellectual property right over their papers. It's their name that goes at the title. But farmers are not aware many times of their intellectual property rights, and due to the communitarian behavior, because they always think about the community as a whole. Scientists usually are individual or maximum a team efforts in the scientific community, but in the farming community, it's usually a participatory group efforts and activities. With scientists, the experiments are more quantitative. With farmers, the experiments are more qualitative. With the scientific community, usually the education and the knowledge is passed out through the academic route. Like you publish a paper, it's in the library. If you are a student or a professor, you can access it. But in case of farming community, the knowledge is passed on from generation to generation. And with scientists, it is usually in the written format. With the farmers, it is in the oral format. But if you see, they are, and with the quality of seeds that they have produced traditionally over the years with their observant skills and experimentation, I think farmers are unknown, unnamed scientists. And that's how what we publish and promote so that because scientists get the recognition, but farmers hardly get any recognition for their knowledge. So that's something that we do in Innofo to spread the knowledge of farmers within the farming community. These are the different organizations that I am affiliated with the nationally OFI, as I told you, internationally Innofo, IFOM Organics International, IFOM Asia, and also PGS Organic Council. So coming from all these international scenarios, I come down to my farm. This is the rice diversity plot where from my last year, where we document the traditional varieties with all its characters that I learned from Dr. Debal Dev. And now we have around 120 different varieties, and a helping hand and support group called as Agawayal, where we community group, where we do this conservation together as a community. And even though I am at the national and international levels, but since last 10 years, since 2015, I published my book, but I always wanted to be a farmer. So I became a farmer, and now I'm growing traditional rice varieties, tubers, and vegetables on my farm. And if those who are in Kerala, you are always welcome to come and visit the farm. I'll not go more detail in this because I think I'm already over time, but we'll go to the next important aspect, which is about the new book that is coming, that just came out in April, like this last month, because we are in May, yes, 2nd May. And it is a story of weeds, the name of the book. And it's an illustrative book for young minds and common people to understand the harmful impacts of herbicides and weedicides that actually are dangerous not only for us, but also the biodiversity around us and the environment. So to explain this, I've made the book very simple, in a simple illustrative fashion for the kids. But now I'll just give you a brief of where it came from and why did we all like a little bit of history of genetically modified crops and HT crops. I'll just run you through to give you a context to it. So what is this complex story? So the complex story is that just to give highlighted points, in 1950s to 1970s, during the Vietnam War, actually Monsanto, the bigger company, multinational company, manufactured Agent Orange. It's a herbicide which kills herbs or weedicide, and it was used by the US military to defoliate the Vietnamese dense jungle. Because when they were doing during the war, they wanted to see the down part on the ground. So all these trees, they wanted to defoliate them. So they made this herbicide. But this exposure to the Agent Orange led to widespread health issues among the Vietnamese civilians and also the US veterans. But this was where originally the herbicide idea came out. And then Monsanto in 1974, that was the first time when Monsanto made Roundup. And the active ingredient in the Roundup was glyphosate. Glyphosate is an important chemical in Roundup herbicide, and that was developed by Monsanto. Now, this herbicide actually kills the weeds, and when you see a farm, there are crops, and then there is surrounded by some weeds, which generally we do by hand weeding or manual weeding. We remove the weeds, but on a large scale, when a farm is there, but on the large scale, when the farm is there, you want to protect your crop, but you also want to kill the weeds. For that, huge, large-scale farms in the United States, they needed to have this herbicide, and that's how they started promoting herbicides. Now, and to sustain those, there was making of the herbicide-tolerant crops. So our seeds were then made into herbicide tolerant, such that they don't die with the herbicide, but the crops will stand and the weeds will die. So that was the idea behind the HT crops or the herbicide tolerant crops. So, to give just a brief history of how the genetically modified scenario in India started was with the Mahiko company, Monsanto. Actually collaborated with Mahiko, which is the Maharashtra hybrid seeds company, and they introduced GM cotton. So GM cotton is the only officially released GM crop in India, uh, and that was but that, before it got officially released, there were cotton trials that went in Gujarat, different field trials, and those were illegal. But once it was spread, the BT cotton, then they introduced it legally. But after BT cotton, there was BT brinjal. Both were BT. BT brinjal or BT cotton are GM crops where a gene from a microorganism called Bacillus thuringiensis is taken from the microorganism and then inserted into the seeds of the plant. So in cotton, it is cotton, it's brinjal, but it was brinjal when it was getting introduced. There was a massive movement within India where we all came together and different groups came together and said that we want a ban on BT brinjal, and it succeeded. Uh, then there was an introduction or a trial to bring in GM mustard. Now, GM mustard is actually an HT crop, that is herbicide tolerant crop. The BT was the first to introduction, then was the HT. And as I explained, herbicide tolerant crops are more dangerous because, I mean, BT is also dangerous, but herbicide tolerant are more dangerous because of the harmful impact that they create. And all the other GM crops like soybean, rice are also in the pipeline. There's a huge list of GM crops which are still in the pipeline and are at the gates. And some of them, like GM soya and GM rice, are also illegally getting entry in India uh, through Bangladesh and then Bengal and then other parts of India. Uh, but the companies promoting it is Monsanto, Bayer and Corteva, Dow and DuPont, and many other multinational companies. But these actually hold a major share in the global seed market. But if you see, that's all okay. But what are the health hazards? The health hazards are so enormous. There are alterations in the toxin or the plant the gene is transferred to the plant. Then the plant produces a toxin. And that toxin is actually causing different allergies in people, fatal allergies, food allergies, are also there. Like you can see, there was a case in 96 with the Brazil nut gene in soybean. Then there is a case with GM potatoes. Now, this is not in India, this is elsewhere in the globe. But there was a change in the organs of the rat. The organs shape and size changed. The immune system changed uh, when they saw in rats. Then there were some cases in GM potatoes where there was organ and tissue damage. Then also different kinds of medicinal hazards. Um, there was also allergy seen in skin, respiratory, intestinal, as well as fever with BT corn. Different blood tests also shown the immune response. Then human gut bacteria. This was in 2004, where only human feeding trial of GM crops was done, and gene transfer from GM soya to human gut bacteria, and that was the most dangerous one that was tried. Then there was also different, I'll not go into the detail, but different health hazards were seen with kidney abnormalities, liver abnormalities, and different cases where in the US were filed by different people where they got the cancer and they filed a case against Monsanto. And then finally, over the years, finally Monsanto had to pay a lot of like $289 million as damage cost to the people who were sick with the cancer. So all these cancer patients are now in the pipeline, and but there was one case where the payment was done. And this has also Roundup. The Roundup is the herbicide brand name of glyphosate, that the herbicide and the weedicide, but there are different brand names. But this is the major one. And the childhood cancer rates have increased not only, this is the case in Argentina. Then colorectal cancer has increased. And as I told you about this man who received the damage costs, but like that, there are 1,70,000 Roundup cancer lawsuits or cases that are filed against Bayer and Monsanto worldwide. And this is Roundup is definitely linked to non Hodgkin lymphoma, which is also a kind of cancer. So such number, a huge number of lawsuits are still filed every now and then in the court of law. But this is all in the US and the developed countries. But in our case, we don't even know what's happening, what has come in, and what illegally things are happening. So and this is all the physical exchanges or the physical damages and hazards that happen. But there are also different hazards that happen in the nature and in the environment, because the extraction of gene is precise, but insertion of that gene in the plant is very imprecise. And I don't know how many of you know, but role of genome is still very unknown, largely is known largely, but only 3% of the human DNA is considered useful. So yeah, it's basically very complex system where a gene is introduced, but the introduction is not very precise. And uh, yeah, so there are different. I'll not go into the detail of the translation and the phenotypic changes that happen within these transgenic activities. But the expression of genes definitely changes depending on the surroundings that the genes are in. A same gene that will behave in humans for the feet, the same gene might behave for the fins of the fish, and the same gene can behave or produce a toxin or a substance in the leaf of a plant. So, depending on where the gene lands up, the different uh, chemical is produced. And this is with the herbicide tolerance. It is basically in the plant where this is the case of soybean, where the greater proportion of lignin is found. So once you put the gene in this plant, you see more of herbicide resistance or HT that happens. And there are many other risks to the ecological risks, like impacts the soil biology, it hampers the beneficial insects, predators, honeybee population. There is also gene flow and gene drift that can happen from one organism to another. Then there's emergence of secondary pests and also super weeds, because when you're trying to put herbicide on a weed, the weed automatically over the years becomes resistant to herbicides by itself, and then it creates super weeds. So super weeds is a major problem in all the countries where herbicides are used. So there's also damage to soil flora and fauna. And yeah, so there's a lot of other damages. But what all we are doing? Are we just sitting on it? So no. So there has been a huge group of us, all of us, called through the GM free movement in India. This was in 2014, where we did strike in Rahuri Vidyapith. Then this was in Philippines where I went, where our member in Masipag actually helped to stop the golden rice entry into the system in Philippines. They recently won the case, but yeah, it's all a team effort from different scientists and community in Philippines. Then for the GM mustard, also there has been farmers against the GM mustard. This was again the GM-free movement, where 57 farmer unions and associations and beekeepers came together and actually uh, 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 tried to say against HT crops. A technical expert committee for the Supreme Court had made, but everybody helped to actually ban the GM mustard. So this are not only the protests on the road, but there are also written petitions and litigations that are already being happening in the last 20 years now. As you can see, different people, Dr. Suman Sahai, Aruna Rodrigues, Anantu Sayanan, Vandana Shiva, and many others have already filed petitions against the government, universities, and whatnot. There are a lot of details. I'll not go more. But yeah, so all these are there, but the fighting is still going on. Still, we have illegal entries of GM crops coming into our food systems, and uh, we as common man, as common civilians, are not even knowing about the importance of what is HT seeds, what are GM crops. We are not aware of what food we eat. We are just being told what to eat through the advertisements on the television. So to make this all complexity of the genetically modified crops, their entry and their all these things is a very complex system with the seed and the DNA and the whole system at the environment level. So different layers and onion peels that I just got you through this. But over the years, I realized that if you have to reach to the common man and the common, in a massive scale, we need to make it really simple for people to understand. It cannot be told in such complex manner. If it is told in such complex manner, people will say, "Oh, it is so much." But how much it is to take in? So for that, I have tried to make a very simple illustrative book for kids and common man to understand harmful impacts of weedicides that they should know about, and also the alternatives that exist in the organic and agroecology. Farmers have made the different solutions. They are also mentioned because it's not only the harmful side of it, but there is positive side and positive solutions by organic farmers on ground, which we should multiply and bring it to the wider scale such that organic and agroecology doesn't remain as an alternative only for the elite, but it should be for the common people everywhere, and people should know about it. So yeah, so now the book is available on Amazon for you to order your copy. That's the link. But if you also want books in, like, you don't want to buy through Amazon, you're against Amazon, or like you don't want this big corporative things, then for bulk orders also we are available. We are all voluntarily doing this because we want the book to reach to a larger audience, a larger scale of children, because children are the future. They grasp things much faster than any adults could get into this. And so I have started working with children, and children are really appreciating the book and want to be the young leaders advocating this. So I'm very happy to share this with you. And I hope to get all your support in the future so that we can bring this to a common man and on a larger scale for people to know what they eat, because we are what we eat. So, yeah, I would stop here and not take more of your time. But thank you for giving me this opportunity. And I think I have exceeded my time already. But if you have any questions, I'm open to answer. Thank you so much.
No, I think
I think
we
we
did not do enough justice to kind of give you this much of time to hear all your experiences. They were like, there was so much struggle, so much passion that just came through your talk as you were sharing, and we were all very awestruck with some of the struggles that you've went through. And I think it came out very well that these connections we wanted to see, at least I wanted to see, is that it was not just as a movement at the seed level, movement at people's level in terms of the recognition of people's knowledge as well. So often in the academia, we ask that whose knowledge counts. So here I felt the way you started off with is that it's now becomes like a uh, it's it's on us that we need to document this, we need to archive this, else this can be part of history and be basically all that has been saved and curated and conserved but has been passed down through oral history on oral knowledge, something that has been not documented, so to say, in the mainstream way of documentation, and that gets lost, and we the one becomes then the victim of this immense loss. So I thank you so much once again, and I open it up for our participants. Uh, some of you who stayed back and have given us so much time. So, would you want to ask any questions or share your thoughts? Or maybe some of you are already into farming and have some experiences and want to share some.
Hello. Hello. Yeah, this is Dr. Samir Shastri from Pune. Shamika, it was an excellent presentation. I just want to ask you one thing, one question that suppose somebody like us who is not at all, having any agricultural background and but passionate about organic farming and such these areas like using traditional weeds and because I always try to get maca maize that which is we call it as traditional maize, but I don't get it in Pune. So, if we want to cultivate these things, from where we should start? What should be the starting point? Thanks.
Yeah, it's a good question. Yes, so I can connect you to some people who can give you the seeds, but I
Okay.
also connect you to people locally who can help you and guide you, because in the beginning, maybe if you don't have an experience in farming, it will
Hmm.
take a little bit of efforts.
Yeah.
But otherwise, yes. Also, I do consultancy, so I can also help you when I am in Pune and help you around.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Thanks. Thanks.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, so we don't have any more question, I feel. But what I wanted to know from you, Shamika, is that sometimes from my field work, what I've experienced is that people are really struggling, and there are different factors at play. I mean, it's not like a clear binary between a group of farmers who are doing chemical intensive farming and a group of farmers who are just doing organic farming. In the middle, there are so many farmers who are struggling to make this transition. So for these farmers, I mean, I'm sure you've also witnessed such farmers who are in the process of making this transition. So are there any government support? Because otherwise it becomes very risky for them. I mean, maybe I've seen NGOs going out there and supporting them and wanting, helping them to make that transition, but still it's not possible for them because of the other inequities that exists in our agrarian system. So what would be your thoughts on that?
Yes, I think you have asked a very nice question. Usually, they are not like two sections of organic and conventional. Usually, there is a mix of everything, and actually, organic is the end product that we want, but the transition is through agroecology. So, with agroecology, transformation is mainly where you can do a different set of principles and things and try to reduce the inputs gradually, the fertilizers little by little, pesticides little by little. But this can happen only with the knowledge of the alternatives. So what are the other alternatives for chemicals? So for that, there is a set of knowledge pool that requires. So we like in the national level and local level, we do trainings for newcomers to come to trainings and understand what are the different decoctions to make, how to make them, what are the alternatives for different diseases. It's a crop specific thing. Like every crop will have different kind of pests and diseases and how to overcome them. So there are that kind of trainings are there already at the national and local level where people can apply, and but that all depends on the funds that are available to organize such an event. So the funds are always a challenge, but the government support does not exist. Unfortunately, in none of the states have this for the transition for a farmer from conventional to organic. There are hardly any support system as of now, but hopefully I wanted to mention that as well, but I could not in the time limit that we had. That with the food system transformation that is getting pushed globally, also now there is a scope that the governments are actually forced to push for agroecology as the first step, and that's how in India natural farming is getting promoted on a bigger scale, and there are funds available for agroecology and things coming up with this global force towards the transition of the full food system. So that is happening, but you need to tap the right set of people at the right time. Only then you can access those funds that are available for doing these trainings and workshops with farmers. So this is the normal stream, but on my personal level, what we experience is that when we farm with our neighbors that we have, mostly the neighbors are usually the conventional ones. So they do use chemicals, fertilizers and pesticides. But so what we do is we don't just start advocating them that no, this is wrong and this is what you should do. We don't do that because we find this is just not going to work. What we do is we do a little bit of a strategy. We learn from them how to make land preparation, how to do other activities of planting. Like every crop has a different set of planting cycle, different practices to follow. So we show as if we don't know anything, and we try to approach them asking for their guidance to us. And with that, the farmer feels a little bit interested and excited because somebody is asking for his knowledge. So they open up. So, and that open up actually helps because they tell us how to do the land preparation and some other things and other practices. And then gradually we introduce them to traditional seeds. Then we gradually introduce them to these local decoctions. They only ask because they are once the lock is open and once they are open for a conversation, it is then much easier. So it's a all mindset game that how you approach people. If you go as an NGO person trying to tell them that no, you have to do this, they will say, why do I want to do this? Is just very difficult. I don't want to do. You better, who are you to tell me? So that kind of approach won't work. That's how my experience shows when I was previously working in different organizations and going as a staff. It is very different from what I go and talk to them now as a farmer myself, having experience and then sharing knowledge with each other. It is really different.
Yeah, thank you. That answered my question. Um, uh, and so I think we are good to go. I see a couple of them joining, uh, or did they join before and they uh, left for some time? Not sure. But again, if there's a question or there's a comment or anything seeking for clarity, anything, you may unmute your system and ask.
I would just like to request you for the link record link. Uh, this recording is going on, so if possible, please do share the link for the recording
Yes,
so
sir.
that I
So
can,
the recording will be available on the YouTube channel of the Bune
yeah,
Collective. It will be
yeah.
there.
Maybe I will get it through Shamika also. Please do share.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
will share it with her.
yeah.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so I think
Okay.
I will wrap it up. It was quite a long session. And thank you so much again, once again, for your time. And we surely want to be connected. And maybe as a researcher, I would also want to understand few other things with respect to land access and other forms of inequalities that kind of hinders or stops the farmers or the farming community in order to make this transition. And also, there's a gender side to it. So maybe we'll catch up some other time and we'll talk about it and maybe do another session after a little later. Yeah,
Okay, great. Thank you.
great. Thank you so much. Bye bye.